nigger.
You've already said nigger.
D is just like nigger. Saying nigger. She's calling you a nigger. It's like this boy that he's a nigger, but starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And there are niggers. Start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger and you couldn't say nigger. Most nigger.
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
When does basic conversation turn into demonstrative, egotistical, fear-inducing banter? Ask Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, his unAmerican conversations has led many unbackboned humans to become full-fledged followers of the Joe Rogan Experience neo-Nazi team. And why isn't he canceled? Can he be canceled? Why do so many people still believe in what he says? Are we that lost? Is this making us free? Or is Joe Rogan the new Trump or Alex Jones? Why does he get so many free passes? And when did it become such a big deal that he's somebody that we as Americans, as humans, should take advice from? Fearless, what do you think, man? What do you think about this whole Joe Rogan experience?
I was a fan of the Joe Rogan Experience until I just found out he said the word nigger. And the way he said it was so cavalier and so natural. It was like, opening up your fucking faucet and seeing the water come out. It's suspected.
Right. You know like he was just given a pass to say it, right? I have 4 black friends. I can say it.
He said that when you have demonstrative thoughts about a word, it gives it more power to be used in a more negative space. Okay, that sounds nice and smart when you think about the words. But in actuality, there's a lot of oppression and hate that comes with that. And look, some things that I can't say, Wayne can't say, and if we said, we will get in trouble. Probably even with our own family members, but definitely with society.
Yep. Totally don't want to say it either. You ain't got to tell me not to say it. I don't want to. I don't want to offend people for no reason.
Right. And, sometimes you might offend people by mistake. You might not even know a word is offensive, right? Right, Wayne? Right. I remember when you used to be able to say the F word in music constantly and in conversation. Mm-hmm. But then we learned, got educated that it was offensive. And then we stopped using it. That shit is basically gone from like normal conversation between people.
Yeah. From society.
We don't even like to say like, oh man, you acting gay. Cause it's like, oh, what are you insinuating? You know what I mean? Like that could be seen as a certain type of thing that hurting the pride of black or gay people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure the N-word has been always known as like, y'all can't say this. Has that ever
Absolutely
been?
Not.
So how do you fuck that up? And then you give credence to what you're saying by saying that, why? Because the end of the clip that, we played before this video start basically just shows the other guy cringing when Joe Rogan says it. And then he says the reason why he doesn't say it is because that's not something that we should say. So I don't care about how much education you're supposed to have. That's not something you should say. Right. So let's just start that off with. But I am a fan of Joe Rogan in terms of his show because I love his interview style and he be having access to all types of people, bro.
But so about the N-word, I think that there's an excuse where if somebody else says it, then you're allowed to repeat it as well. So if you're reading a news article that has the N-word in it, then you're allowed to repeat the N-word because all you're doing is just reading out loud or somebody else said. All you're doing is repeating what that other person said. So I think they use that excuse to say it as well. But deep down, I think that they really do want to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever had a conversation with someone and they were like, oh, shit, why can't I say the N-word? I mean,
yes,
especially with like a white person or the other man, they could be like, yo, why are you using, we created the word. Why can't we say it? We don't want to say it to be offensive. We just want to say it because sometimes we just want to say it. Why do you always want to say the N-word? What do you want to say it for? What is so taboo about that word that you want to say it? The only reason you want to say it is so you can get comfortable enough to use it against us. Or you just want to use it against us in the very beginning of it. Look, those are my reasons why they said. As far as Joe Rogan and him saying the N-word, I personally I personally believe, for one, he's comfortable saying it.
Yeah.
Because, he
I
has
agree.
a whole gang of people behind him, listeners, followers. So he's comfortable, and he's not saying it like in a disrespectful way, but just saying it in general is disrespectful,
Word. And Lenny Bruce argued about that in like 1950s. It was one of his bits. It was like one of his most controversial bits. He would point people out in the audience and call, "There's a nigger. There's a spick.
Jesus.
There's a kike."
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It was a crazy, crazy bit.
So let me say this. I will say that I don't feel like canceling is enough for Joe Rogan, for somebody of Joe Rogan's stature. I feel like Joe Rogan should be just taken off of any type of form of anything that would involve a microphone. But see, that's scary because we did the same thing with Trump and Twitter, and he created his own social media network or social media app or something like that, right?
Do you know what it is?
The name escapes me right now.
That's my point. Nobody knows that shit is.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I remember it was all the rage, like, maybe a year or so ago, people, I think that's even how the January 6th newsletter got out, or one of the ways it got out. You know what I mean?
You said newsletter. Who the fuck?
Yeah, man. Who subscribed to that shit? I forget the name of it. I think it was Parler. Parler, was it?
That was something totally different, but that was one of them.
Okay.
They finally came back, but ain't nobody on that shit,
Okay.
man.
But yeah, I don't think canceling is enough for someone like Joe Rogan. I think we need to just cut him off at the legs completely and let him figure out his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he wants to do it in like some backwoods somewhere in deep South Alabama, where you need like a UHV, or you got to turn your satellite dish this way in order to get them. Cool.
Shortwave.
Yeah,
Shortwave radio.
So that, what do you call it? Pirate radio or some shit like that. Look, if it was something like that, cool. Not even cool, but fine. Not, I don't want it to be cool. I don't want him to be hurt at all. But if you got to go through heaven and earth just to try to find where his podcast is or YouTube channel is, then that's fine, because he doesn't need to be easily accessible. His speech is way too dangerous to be found on Spotify, where you could just type in Jay and all his shit would just pop up. We don't need someone like him on earth, and it's simply because there's so many people that are following him. So I want to blame it on him, just him alone. But there's so many lost souls out there who can't think for themselves, who just find something to follow. They want something to agree with. And Joe Rogan is the face of that agreement in what you think and what you believe in. And not only that, but it's so easy. If you listen to something over and over again, bro, it can seep into your mind without you even knowing. You're not trying to latch on to this way of thinking. It's just happening because you're listening to it so much. And I know people like to think that, oh, that could never happen to me, or I'm too strong. There ain't nobody go tell me a way to think. I think like this, bro. Trust me. If you listen to something for so long, every single day, it's going to just jump into your head and you're going to start believing it, which leads me to my next question. When is entertainment versus, I guess, following somebody? When is speech entertaining, and when does it turn from entertaining to you following that person's speech, or it's being led or into your life? You know what I mean?
I think once you start quoting somebody, once you start, believing that this is like your ultimate source of information, instead of like the news or the government and things like that, it can easily become that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that I understand why he is so popular, because the fact that when you look at it from like a whole, like from in its totality, and the government in general and all the things that's happened, I don't think like the world should trust like any government, right?
Right.
You can trust the people in the government, but to trust the government as a whole is just stupid. And I feel like he gets that point across to like everyone that is in ilk or just follows that type of logic, right?
Right.
And then you start to provide more of your own personal information, and then your message starts to get a little skewed, right? Over and over again. So kind of like Alex Jones. Alex Jones never had no problems with no fucking body until he said that shit about, Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook.
But everything else he said, nobody really gave a fuck. If you listen to him, they thought he was just some crazy conspiracy, tin hat, weird aluminum hat motherfucker, right?
Right.
You bugging. Because he would talk about how reptilians are in the government, how there's a mothership, and believe it or not, Louis Farrakhan, leader of the, Black Muslims, he said that there's a mothership that he actually went to in the sky that's actually like controlling and having international meetings with all the international.
So wait,
leaders.
Farrakhan said that he had seen that? Shit.
He said he went up there and talked to him. So like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of your faith leaders, your powerful leaders, they believe some outer world stuff. I'm not saying what he talking about is crazy. It makes like it seems no fucking sense and there's no fucking belief or proof that this shit ever happened. But whatever. All these flat earther type cats, you know what I'm saying? They can follow Joe Rogan and get a lot of like information added to what they already believe and give them new beliefs.
Right.
And there's always been people like that. And that's the government's fucking fault. They hide shit from us. They lie to us. They hurt us. They don't give black people their rights. They take stuff away from white folk all the time. They hurt the Chinese folks. They hurt every single race. And it's not just America. It's every nation.
Right.
All of our leaders fail at some point. And if you get fed up by that shit and you start to not believe in the system, you can easily get swayed by somebody like Joe Rogan or Alex Jones.
I got you.
Until they say some shit that's so fucking crazy that they start to actually become a detriment to that entire community. Because that community is full of people that honestly just want a better world.
They want the better
But they
world
might believe that, you have to blow up some shit to get it. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ted Kaczynski on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to blow up shit because he thought that, and he was right. They did experiments on that motherfucker for 20 years, man, and turned him into a serial killer. The government did that, bro. So when you get all of that information, right? All of that hate, all of that fear, all of that power, all of that anxiety about your own government. And then you get it put into like a package for you on a podcast that you can listen to reaffirm what you believe and give you further evidence because he's interviewing people that actually was in the government talking about, yeah, nigga, we got aliens and shit. Yes, this is real. My fault. You got real people like, and there's evidence. I'm showing you documents, federal documents. Yeah, nigga, I was working on a spaceship program where we was trying to, break down this alien tech we found in the woods. Nigga, you gonna believe that shit, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck who you is. You listen to that shit long enough, you're gonna be like, oh shit, is this real?
Right. So that's another thing too.
So that's my whole point. That's how that can happen.
Let me ask you this while you're on this topic here. When does it become, when or why or how does it become a lifestyle? Now, it's one thing to listen to something and be like, yo, I believe this now. But when does it become a lifestyle where you listen to it every day? When you try to find conspiracy theories all the time? When you try to just find the different stuff? Yeah. Just find the differences and everything. You can't appreciate nothing. Like during COVID, there was so many people that went into a store and was like, why are you wearing your mask? This is the government created this. Why does that matter to you? If this is what we want to believe, let us believe and let us be safe in doing it. So when does it become like a lifestyle choice to where people have to act against it, or it becomes everything that you watch, whether it be on YouTube or Netflix or wherever? Like, when does it become something that it's just all encompassing in your life?
Have you ever failed at anything, Wayne?
Yes.
Right? Do you ever try to make an excuse that was outside of it being like, yeah, I could have controlled this and did this better to make it not work? You ever look for another excuse?
Yeah, I have before. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You blame somebody else, you blame something else, you blame a certain circumstance instead of just being your fucking ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all did it, right? Yeah. Imagine you doing that, but you're like, yo, the reason why I didn't succeed is because of the government.
Yeah. Well, see, well, black people
dive and just figuring out why they against you.
Look here real quick. Black people can actually say that though, because we're being held down. We've always been held down. You know what I mean?
I can totally agree with that. And I believe that a lot of the shit that we've chosen to do as a people and that we voted for and subscribed to and took advantage of was actually to the detriment. But we didn't have enough hindsight to see it because who the fuck does?
You're right, yeah,
when you broke, nigga, and somebody talking about I'm giving you some free money, but you can't have a black man in your household.
Yeah.
Those single moms gonna take that.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck who you is, nigga. So I think that is real simple. If you go through anything that you feel like you lost, right? Or you have any mistrust, you can just feed into it as soon as you just do a deep dive. Yeah. Because I know you've done deep dives about shit, and I know I have too. But we do deep dives against stupid stuff. Yeah. You know, like, you know, like, I don't know, deep dive on movies or something. I don't know, whatever we do it. But you can easily do one about all the conspiracy theories. And you can easily get your mind like that. And then, yo, that's how people get radicalized, bro.
Yeah. And it's easy to believe too, because we talked about conspiracy theories one time before. I told you one of my favorite conspiracy theories is the Titanic. I don't know if you ever heard of that one, but there was 2 ships when the Titanic was made, and the Titanic, like, I think some workers destroyed the actual Titanic, not destroyed it, but did something that made it just unseemly. You know, like it didn't look brand new anymore, and they didn't want people on board. So the conspiracy theory goes that there was another ship called like the Atlantis or Atlantic, something like that. They take all the Titanic shit from the Titanic boat, like I'm talking like pictures and chairs and shit, and they move it all into like the Atlantic and call that the Titanic. So when that gets hit, or when that hits an iceberg and it, you know, it sinks, it was never the Titanic that was unsinkable in the first place. That's just one of the ones that I like. And also the joint about Michael Jordan and his dad, you know, and him owing some people some money for gambling and then him leaving to go play baseball. That shit connects too much, man. Like I honestly believe in that, but this is a different episode. We're going to go off on something else. I didn't want to go there just yet. I just wanted to talk about how easy it is to get caught up in conspiracy theories and to believe them.
So I know you don't want to get into that, but just if you think about those 2 things that you brought up, I believe the Michael Jordan one, right? Yeah. Even though you'll be like, man, ain't this nigga worth millions of dollars, bro? He's up there shooting all these baskets, getting all these rings. Believe it or not, he really didn't get paid until after like 2 years before he retired. Is when he started really getting real money. There's all them niggas on. You can't have Bill Cartwright and fucking Dennis Rodman and Pippen and their coach and be underneath the salary cap or the salary cap. Yeah. That's not happening, bro. He wasn't getting paid shit, nigga. He was like the 56th highest paid player at the time when he was winning chips, bro. Until his last 2 years.
And on top of that, I remember him saying that when he did owe money, he would say like, I can't take this kind of money out without my wife noticing. And I'm like, well, damn, if you got like hundreds of millions, if you take out 50,000, she's going to notice. She's going to see that, you know, and if you don't have hundreds of millions, then yeah, that 50,000, if you only got like 120,000 in the bank or in a certain account, then yeah, she's going to notice that. Yep. But also his new Caucasian wife, she probably don't ask none of that. Like, oh, go ahead, baby. Let's do whatever you want. I'm married to Michael Jordan, whatever, you know.
Yeah, she don't give a fuck about nothing. Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest. Everyone said that he's a degenerate gambler.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's a degenerate
he
person,
is. And
honestly.
He's filthy with it. He like spot me 1.2 million. It's Michael fucking Jordan. You're gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, no doubt. Nigga, put out a new colorway of shoe next month and you'll get twice that back, bro.
Right. Yeah. So we're like, yeah, nigga, do whatever he want. You get some champagne and next thing you know, you down 10 mil. Yeah. And they like, yo, if you don't give me no money, we're gonna smoke your pop. That's something that can easily happen, bro.
And that's another thing too. We might have to make an episode on this, man. But that's another thing too, is like his dad had gone off on the side of the road because he was going out of town, going off on the side of the road to get some sleep. Like you, Michael Jordan's pappy, bro. And you going and let me just pull over to the side of this road and take a snooze for a couple hours. Negro, please, you better go get you a 5-star hotel. I know you got one of Michael's credit cards, bro. You may not have like his cash in your pocket, man, but you got something where you can go up, if not his own money, to get him like a nice little Motel 6. Like, I'm sorry. 2 random dudes ain't go run up on a car and be like, oh, you Michael Jordan's daddy. Let's rob and kill this guy. I'm sorry, man. That was planned. That was orchestrated. But that's just what I think, though.
See? Mm-hmm. and you got all the evidence in the world to prove that you're right. And you can, in your mind, make the connection.
Right.
But you can't, in your mind, understand the grassy knoll.
Right. Right.
That don't make sense to you.
Yeah.
But to these other people, it do. But the truth is, none of us was there.
Right.
None of us got no pictures of shit.
Mm-hmm.
None of us got no police reports. We don't know how to be no detectives. Right. We don't know how to do no fingerprints, DNA analysis. We don't know shit. We just talking and thinking about what we heard another motherfucker talk about. So we think we right.
Because we didn't watch CSI in the first 48 and we think we fucking know. You're right. You're absolutely right. But
watching Law and Order. Dun-dun.
We have common sense too, though, man. And I don't care what you think.
But that shit don't always be right.
The only time that your common sense don't be right in situations like this. Have you ever heard of Occam's razor? The term Occam's razor?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty much just, if the simplest belief is probably the truest belief.
Yeah.
So if you believe, like,
yep.
if you want to believe Michael Jordan's dad fell asleep on the side of the road and two randoms came up on him and robbed and killed him, cool. But it seems more plausible that Michael Jordan, who was a degenerate gambler, maybe didn't have as much money as we thought he did, maybe gambled a good bit of it away. It just seems like you put all these connect the dots together and him leaving to go play baseball. It just seems more logical that somebody probably had his father killed over some gambling issue, you know?
But the Titanic one, right? That don't seem logical.
No, it don't,
like,
because
to
move
so we need to put it on this new
to the next boat would take ages to fucking do it. And they needed to do that shit in a small amount of time. But it's just fun to believe, though.
But it's more logical that they fucked up the design of that boat.
Yeah.
They said it was unsinkable, but they didn't think they was going to hit some shit that was like the size of the Empire State Building and just hit it straight on. You know what I mean? Or like when they hit it and it just scraped it hit every part that was supposed to be, unsinkable.
Right.
But is it possible that they had another ship on standby? Is it possible that they was like, well, fuck it, we're going to use this bullshit. We're just going to switch out everything. Mm-hmm. Is that shit? And can we find evidence that the other boat was probably used?
I don't know.
Not know, but is it possible? Yeah. See, reasonable doubt is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
One of them bitches.
I think it was not reasonable doubt. I think it was possession is 9/10 of the law. I think that's But either way, I believe in that Titanic shit more than I believe in reptilian government or something like that. That people, but that's something to believe in too, I guess. But
I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second, bro. Okay, there we go. So what'd you say?
But I did want to ask you. He is a celebrity and he has a lot of, he's a self-made celebrity and those people are always listened to. I feel like the people who make something of themselves are the worst people in the world. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, pat yourself on the back from going from nothing to something and make something and becoming a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire. I'm with you. Cool. I got you. But they're the worst people in the world because they think they're untouchable and they're like, oh, look what I did. Everybody praise me. I did it on my own. Oh, I created this business. I'm self-made. Who gives a shit? Good for you, bro. Don't go around parading it. If you want to talk about it amongst people, cool. If you want to teach people how, cool. But to me, they're the worst people in the world because their egos are extremely high because they did everything on their own. Joe Rogan, he is an announcer for UFC, color commentator. Yep. He was a bullshit ass comedian. He called out Carlos Mencia years ago. What else did he do? He's an actor. I remember he used to play on like news radio or something like that when he had hair.
Yeah.
So do you think that his success and him being on TV has to do with people believing him? Because it's like when you see somebody on TV and it's not just one TV show in the 90s. Like I said, UFC, comedy, all these things. And it's like, well, he must be doing something right. So when you see him preaching against something that you're kind of against too, and he's already successful in his careers, like how much of that comes into play when it comes to putting somebody up on this pedestal to be listened to and to take advice from?
I would say that if you like a motherfucker's personality, like their delivery, you like them as just like a comedian, or you like the way that they do interviews, it makes it a lot easier for you to listen to them.
Yeah.
And to be like, look past a lot of shit. So for example, I really like the episode that he did with the dude that talks about the UFO ranch. So if you never heard this conspiracy, it's about a guy that was in the federal government that was tasked with running this like organization within the government that was deep state, that basically was going to this fucking ranch that this rich guy had bought, and basically cows be floating around
Like on Mars Attacks.
Nothing works.
Yeah.
It's basically Mars Attacks, but it's like here, like on the planet.
Yeah.
And that shit is blocked off, and people that's ran into it, they done died, and people got super cancer there, radiation exposure. It's like the tectonic plates lined up perfectly for this ranch, and it is fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I ain't never been there. The evidence of the like video is fucked up, because every time they take pictures of it or do video of it, it always comes out corrupted because of the magnetic fields and the Earth's gravitation. I don't know, nigga. It's always fucked up. To me, that's a nice excuse to not have no evidence, right? Yeah. You want to go here, sit here, and see this shit, right? That's one of my favorite ones, though, because I believe in like UFOs and all that funny shit, because I think it's more like plausible that there's life in the galaxy, as vast as it is. But I just don't think it's plausible that they would come be seeing us, because what the fuck do we got that's so important?
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure we born compared to them niggas.
I feel the same way. But it's also about, I guess, wanting to learn a different species, because if they're out there, we're a different species to them. And who's to say, like,
and if they're more advanced,
like whoever, that's what I was just about to say, whoever came up with aliens or saw an alien for the first time, how do we know they're so damn advanced? How do we know every alien rides around in a UFO? How do we know shit ain't really like Men in Black, when dudes, like, people are walking around like humans and they just go like, and just turn into this like big ass worm or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are refugees.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just like they're so advanced and they're so ahead of the future, and they live in like these big, huge homes, and everything just kind of flies around. We don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure at all. Somebody created that, and now all of a sudden, everything we see is a fucking UFO. Like, they could be driving trucks, bruh. They could be having like flying trucks, or just they could have roads too, wherever they're from. You know what I mean? But it's like whatever image that was created, that's the one we took, and that's one we are afraid of. But it's always about learning another species, learning another group of people. And I believe it will be seeing if we can come together, like on some alienation type stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But really, it's all about control. Like, we are afraid that they're going to try to learn us so we can control them, because the other man, if they had their hands on the aliens, they would try to kill, murder, and control them. And I think that's why we're so afraid of aliens. It's because the same reason why the other man is so afraid of black people, so afraid of just pigmentation in general, is because they've murdered everything that's different. So we believe that aliens are going to do the same thing. They may not. They may just want to come down and, teach us how to play PlayStation, Xbox, but we want to murder and kill them because that's all the other man has taught us. You see what I mean? So
I know what you mean. And that's the reason why I think, like, and I know we kind of going on into like conspiracy theory shit. But the whole point of that,
it all connects,
is to say, like, it does. Like, his show does talk about a lot of those different topics, and also like popular subjects and things of that nature. Yeah. But something that was started off just to show like your opinion and to give people that usually don't see in media opportunity to speak is very important. So I applaud Joe Rogan for that, to giving those people a platform, certainly since his shit is so big. And he did start from the bottom, but at the same time, he knows so many people. His podcast really didn't start from the fucking bottom. You know what I'm saying? He has been in the UFC since the inception, basically. He is one of the people that was like, yo, this is this new dope sport that I think everybody gonna love, because, he grew up doing jujitsu and shit. So he just like, man, everybody gonna love this shit. So let me start being an announcer for it. He wasn't really even getting paid. So like, I commend him for like being a visionary and seeing it. And, he was on Fear Factor, of course, as well.
That's
Obviously,
right.
A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a very popular person in culture. You know what I mean? But my whole point of it is that at this particular point now, he does need to clarify, I think, his thoughts, because as people, sometimes we feel like people are smarter than they are.
Yeah. Because
a person might be, but people, like a group of motherfuckers, are dumb. Science proves the mob mentality is a real thing. Hormonal imbalance happens when we are in a mob.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch like a swarm of bees and all that shit, the reason why they can coordinate together is because that bee follows that bee, do that. And it goes right and trickles right down.
Okay.
So if you're following a whole bunch of people, you might not have the common sense to be like, oh, I ain't gonna do that because them niggas going in trouble. Nah, you thinking like, oh, he riding, I'm riding. We all riding together.
Right.
And you gotta think about who's his group, who's his base. My main thing is that when it comes to the vaccine shit, I understand he has his own opinion and I understand he had his own experience. And I also understand he's warring with the media right now. Right?
By choice.
He's beefing with CNN, MSNBC, and Fox too. So, the mainstream media is a problem. We already talked about that. We have a whole episode talking about how the media is an issue. And we argued about, you saying you got to get the news. I'm saying that they are selective with the news, right?
Is media the problem? The episode's out right now on YouTube, anywhere your free podcast is sold. You Feel Me Podcast.
Word. And it's on Spotify too. But my whole major point about saying all of that is simple. Everybody has a voice, but you got to be careful with your voice. And what he is doing right now, talking about this vaccine shit. I mean, what do you expect, man? Scientists to figure this shit out in 3 years. And it took the Spanish flu, took like 7 years to figure that shit out. So you gotta give motherfuckers a chance. And yeah, we thought that staying in the house would make you safer. How the fuck we supposed to know that was wrong?
We don't know that.
It took years for us to figure that out was wrong.
Right.
Like, we're not gonna know automatically that mask this particular mask don't work compared to this mask.
Yeah, we gotta try
it takes research and time.
Exactly.
We're just trying to save people's lives, man. That's all we're just trying to do. Anyway, I don't trust the government for a motherfucker, but I'm listening to the scientists though, bro, because they smarter than me in that field. I don't give a fuck what they say.
I believe in science more than anything. Personally.
What'd you say, bro?
I said, I believe in science more than anything.
I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Right. There. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said, I believe in science more than anything.
Right.
And
I hate the fact that he tried to debate with, who's that? Dr. Gupta, I believe his name is.
Dr. Sanjay
the main
Gupta?
doctor that's on CNN.
Yeah.
Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah.
Remember he had him on his podcast and he basically was like, you guys said that I said this, but I didn't say this. And Sanjay was like, yeah, I never said that. You said that. CNN said that you said that. But that's not like the fact that they said or reported something wrong doesn't mean that everything you said is right, my nigga.
Right.
Like, the vaccine is probably the best way to stop COVID. There's no other evidence that we have right now that is the scientific community all agrees that a pill that's for horses is stopping this shit. When they do, then maybe we can implement it. But right now, man, we just trying to save lives.
That's it,
man.
We're trying to figure it all out. And if you have like your whole constituency, they're stopping us from trying to figure it out. They're just saying, okay, hey, just rub some dirt on it. And, because they're just stuck in their childhood. Like I always say, fuck your childhood. It's just like everybody is just always so stuck in their childhood. It's like, well, we just took some aspirin and called it a day. We just drank some water and everything was fine. Like, we know better now. When you know better, you do better. You know what I mean? Y'all should be everybody always says, bro, like, I want better for my kids. And when you have kids and the world gets better, it gets easier to find like to find a vaccine or to find something that'll make you better. You guys reject it because it's like, I didn't grow up wanting this, but this is the better that your children are getting. Like, this is the better. I don't understand. Like, look, okay. And I want to go back to what you said. I want to stop what I'm saying and go back to what you said. You said everybody has a voice. I will say this. This may be, I don't want to get too deep into it on this topic, but I will say this. Social media has taught me that not everybody deserves a voice. Not everybody's voice matters. Not everybody deserves it. Not everybody needs to be heard, but everybody can be heard. So everybody's going to have an opinion on something, especially when you don't have to say anything. You can just hit like a heart button or you can retweet it. So you really don't even have to like express your feelings anymore. You know, there was something else I wanted to say. I want to go back to Spotify and why they're not kicking him off the platform, canceling him, however. I have two reasons why. Oh, brother, come on. They gave reason number one. They gave him 100 milli.
I'm not canceling that motherfucker neither. You want to see mine? Kiss my ass.
Serious, bro?
Until I get this money out.
I gotta get that money back, man. I gave this one guy $100 million, and we're like, say, not even a year later, like, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're fired. Fuck that. I gotta get that paper back. You know what I mean? I gotta get that paper back. And number two, and hear me out. He hasn't said anything crazy yet.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
so you
right.
feel me on
You're
that.
right.
You feel me on that. Okay.
Besides him saying nigger. That was fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. But since he's been on there, he hasn't said nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. Even though we just complained about the COVID vaccine shit and all the shit he's saying.
Yeah.
But go ahead and elaborate, Wayne.
That was it. That was the elaboration right there, bro. Like he hasn't said anything wild yet. Like he says things that people are already saying and thinking about the COVID vaccine. He'll give his advice on, I took this horse semen and now you could take it, Dana White, and you could take it, Dave Chappelle, and all these other people that he knows, they can take it, and it works. Trust me. I'm a Caucasian. It worked for a Caucasian. It'll work for you. A Caucasian is telling you to do it. That's not wild speech. That is somebody telling you that this is the crazy shit that he did to beat COVID. Now, all those millions of people that listen to him behind him, that shit's going to hurt them more than anything. My thing about that is when they follow and do that, let's say around 2 or 3 people die from taking these horse pills, these horse semen pills that he's been taking. They've been taking his advice and dropping these pills. Let's say these people die. Those families can sue Spotify for having him on their platform and having their brother, sister, whoever listening to that platform. It's the same thing that happened to Travis Scott. He had a concert. People are taking personal responsibility. They're wilding out. They're passing out and dying. And now they want to sue Live Nation. They want to sue Travis Scott. They want to sue everybody. They want to sue Drake for coming out and doing a performance for 3 minutes. But it's because it's personal responsibility. And the same thing can and will happen to Spotify. And it's going to be a hell of a lot more than that $100 million that they gave Joe Rogan. Right? They don't see that yet because all they can see is Joe Rogan's neo-Nazi team behind him. Right? And they're paying that Spotify that $7 or $8 or $10 a month so they can listen to Joe Rogan. And then they can use that excuse of, well, Spotify is a platform of not just podcasts, but of music. You go watch some videos. So everybody who's paying to listen or to have Spotify isn't doing it just to listen to Joe Rogan. They're doing it to listen to music as well. So yeah, we may have a list of all these people or how many people listen to Joe Rogan, but we also have a list of all these people that listen to music as well. So they're not just doing it just for the Joe Rogan podcast. They can use that as an excuse too. But still in all, I still believe they can get sued. We have to wait some time and see if people are going to die from listening to this Joe Rogan speech. So I don't know. I personally believe that they gave him that meal and he ain't saying nothing crazy yet. All the shit that he's been saying has just been, oh, that's just me. That's just me. He's doing that and saying that without saying, hey, my hands are clean. That's just me. But it doesn't matter. If you're out here and you're saying like, yeah, I did this, and people love and respect you so much more than their own fucking families, then yeah, man, you don't have to say, go ahead and do it. You could just say, this is what I did. And people are going to follow you.
I mean, this is also a guy that, has supported Trump, even though he said he just said something dumb. He says some dumb shit, but he's, supported Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't like Joe Biden, said Joe Biden, is a piece of shit. And other different funny things like that. Usually anti-politician in general.
Yeah.
So you can, I wouldn't say that his fan base is neo-Nazi land, but I would definitely say that's big. That's probably like a good percentage.
No doubt,
of his
it may be a little
listeners.
reach.
You must have lost your mind.
It may be a little reach.
Yeah. But I think also that, you know, I do like his stance on marijuana and shit like that. But
So you
he's
like
not
to
the only
smoke it,
voice out there that
so,
says that.
yeah.
That's simple shit.
Yeah. Right.
But my point is like you said, he hasn't said anything stupid yet. But you can just project out that it's coming.
Oh yes. Yes.
It's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's coming. So if I was Spotify, I wouldn't cancel his ass either right now. Like you said, try to get every dollar.
If I was Spotify,
motherfucking red cent.
If I was Spotify, I wouldn't have gave him 100 mil. I wouldn't.
Fuck no.
Nah. But you know, whatever.
No.
What do I know, man?
But I'm gonna tell you right now, I've always been on Spotify since streaming came about. You know, that's the first streaming service I always signed up for. 'Cause I was on Android and shit.
Yeah.
But this shit would not happen on Apple Music. No. You know why?
Yeah. Why is that?
Because Apple don't give a fuck about Apple Music, man.
What are you talking about?
They don't care because their company is based off of Apple. They got a million other shit going on. Apple Music is this much revenue, if that, compared to the massive global machine that Apple is. Spotify is all about streaming. That's all they got.
Spotify don't make no phones,
They
no
got
computers, no nothing like that. Yeah, right.
If Apple Music was like, fuck that nigga, or we're going to shut this shit down right now, fuck this program, it's going to hurt them in certain the stock market, but they'll be right back as soon as they release a new phone or a new device or some shit. You feel me?
Yep.
They don't give a fuck about this shit, man. And that's the difference. That's a big difference, bro.
You're right.
When your livelihood is based off of a particular person and this is your top talent, and you let that top talent go because a few motherfuckers say this whoop de whoop and y'all don't agree, what they gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm canceling Spotify right now.
All right, man. Hold up.
Even though I'm on there.
Hold up before you do that now. Do you have any other music streaming sites that you're going to use? Do you know what you're going to use next?
So my wife, you know, she used Apple. So I'm going to use Apple.
Yeah, they got a deal, man. You can get
And
that
Apple
family
had
plan
podcasts.
like $15.99. That's what Rose and I do, man. So y'all jump on that.
Do you do Apple Podcasts?
No, I do Overcast. Everything on Overcast.
That's right. Because Overcast is where they cast the overs.
That's it, man.
And they don't piss on you.
That's where you can find the latest, greatest podcasts, and especially the You Feel Me podcast.
Yep.
Best place to get it.
Cancel your ass quick if you say something stupid. They don't give a fuck about nothing. Go ahead, say something dumb. Your ass will be going. You never heard from me.
Yo.
Hey, so do you know what's the difference between me, the big homie Wayne, and let's say Joe Rogan? Easy. He's white. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's you. It's the fans. It's the followers. So please go ahead and follow us on your favorite podcast platform so you don't never miss any of our episodes. Never miss none of our short episodes where we talk about the weekly topics or our long form episodes that come out every Friday. And remember, we both black and Joe Rogan ain't. Black and Joe Rogan ain't. Black and Joe Rogan ain't. Black and Joe